Hello everyone, welcome back to the session of English. In this session, we are going to continue with our chapter Connectors. Now, this is part number 4. So, as we have done many connectors till now, we'll continue with connectors only. So, let us see that what we are going to discuss in this session. Well, in this session, we will be connecting these topics. In this lecture, we will cover the following topics. First of all, we'll discuss the connector although, then even though, even if, and even then. So these 4 connectors we are going to study in this session. So let's begin the session. So first we'll discuss the connector although. Okay, as I told you that some are contradictory conjunctions and other are contradictory prepositions, but in the last session we started with contradictory conjunctions. So this is also one of those contradictory conjunction, that is although. Well, in last session we have learned the word though. Although is just same as though, but there is a little difference. If you see it on the ground, they both serve the same meaning. Okay, so first of all we'll discuss that what is the meaning of although. Although as a conjunction is used to introduce a subordinate clause that presents a contrast or exception to the main clause. Now, as I told you earlier as well, that whenever we use such type of conjunction, that is although and though, these are known as subordinating conjunctions. Now, whenever we make a sentence using subordinate conjunction, we basically make it with the 2 clauses. Okay, the one clause is the main clause, whereas the other one is subordinating clause. Okay, and what is the subordinating clause? Subordinating clause consists of a condition which depends on this main clause, or you can say these 2 clauses combinedly make a condition. For example, if I say although in the beginning of the sentence, if I keep this word although in the beginning of the sentence, it will be serving something which will be depending on the main clause. For example, if I say although the weather was pleasant, although weather was pleasant, she was uncomfortable during the journey. Okay, during the journey. So here we can see the contradictions between the 2 situations, that the weather was pleasant is one situation. Now if the weather is pleasant, obviously one feel good, obviously, but she was uncomfortable during the journey. So here we can see the contradiction, and that is why we are using the word although. Okay, so this although shows the contradiction. Now this will be the subordinating clause, as you can see over here, because it is preceded by the word although, that is the subordinating conjunction, whereas the remaining one, the entire sentence which is completing the entire statement, that is she was uncomfortable during the journey. So this is the main clause, because it is serving as the complete sentence in itself. Okay, so this is how we use subordinating conjunction along with the main clause. Okay, so it indicates that despite the information in the subordinate clause, the main clause remains valid or true. Okay, so whatever happens, whatever the matter it was, but the thing which is described in the main clause, it continued as it is. It means it does not get affected due to the situation given in the subordinating clause. Okay, so although serves as the contradiction between the main clause and the subordinating clause. It means whatever is given in the subordinating clause, it will not affect the situation which is given in the main clause. Now we'll read the uses of although. First of all, standard contrast. So it will show the standard contrast. Although it was raining, the outdoor concert went ahead as scheduled. Now, if it were raining, one can cancel the match or cancel the concert. But what happened? Contradictory to that, although it was raining, the outdoor concert went ahead as scheduled. It means it did not get disturbed due to the situation of raining. It was going on, or it it went on. It means it was not affected due to the raining. Okay. Now the another example of it is, although she had very little time means no time at all, she managed to finish the project. It means maybe possible, not in fact below sufficient level time she had, still she managed to finish the project, which was really unexpected. So although is showing the contradiction between the two situations, and also it is saying that the thing which has to be, the work which has to be happened, continued or happened, though the situation it was, or whatever the situation it was. Okay, it did not get affected. Now let us move to the next one. Starting a sentence. Now although can also start a sentence, begin a sentence. You can say that it can be used in the beginning of the sentence. Although he was not well, he decided to attend the meeting. Now if someone is not well, maybe possible he wants to take rest, but what happened? Although he was not well, it means he was not well, still he decided to attend the meeting. Although the task was challenging, they completed it with great enthusiasm. Although the task was challenging, yet they completed it with great enthusiasm. Now one more thing with although, whenever we use although, we can have two situations. Although is actually a correlative conjunction as well as the single conjunction, which is used as the subordinating conjunction. Now we can also pair although with the word yet. Okay, so we can pair although with yet, but it will be paired with only yet, or you can put a comma otherwise. Okay, so it can be used as a pair conjunction either with yet or with a comma. Okay, though you can use it without the comma as well. Okay, or without the word yet as well. So it can be used both in single conjunction as well as like a pair conjunction. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Now it can be used in the middle of the sentence. Now what happens if you are using although in the middle of the sentence? For example, if I say although, let me take an example. If I say although she was poor, she although she was poor, she invited everyone in the Jagran, suppose. Okay, let us see any example. Let us take an example. Okay, she invited everyone in the Jagran. Now if we see the sentence carefully, here we can see the contradiction. She was poor, still she invited everyone in the Jagran. Okay, and hosted well, hosted very well. Okay, so let us see this sentence. Now if I want to make this sentence in three different manners, now what can be done to this sentence? We have used in this sentence although in the beginning of the sentence. Now we can also use this particular word in the middle of the sentence, but what will be the pattern? Actually, this sentence which you are looking over here, this part, this is the subordinate clause. Now we have to take this subordinate clause and we have to shift it in the end of the sentence. Okay, or at the end of the sentence. It means I have to shift not only the word although, in fact, but also the entire clause along with although. It means the entire subordinate clause I need to shift. Okay, so the sentence will be like, she invited everyone and hosted very well. Well, I can write the entire sentence. She invited everyone in the Jagran and hosted very well, although, now here I will write although she was poor. Now you can see over here clearly that the entire clause has been shifted, not only the word although. Okay, so that will rectify the sentence, or that will make the sentence complete and correct. Okay, so this is the basic structure of using although in a sentence. Now she went out for a walk although it was already getting dark. So this is actually showing the contradiction. She went out for a walk although it was already getting dark. He agreed to help although he was already very busy in his own work, or with his own work. Okay, now structure of although. Subordinate clause introduced by although. As I told you that subordinate clause is always introduced by the word although. Okay, begins with although, contains a subject and a verb, cannot stand alone as a complete sentence, and the subordinate clause, it cannot complete the sentence, or it cannot stand alone as the complete sentence, because it is only a phrase, not the entire sentence, or it will not provide the particular or the complete information. Okay, so it provides supplementary information only. Example component, although it was raining. Now if I say it was raining, okay, the sentence is complete. But if I say although it was raining, obviously you will not find any information or complete information through these words or through the sentence. Okay, now the main clause, a complete sentence that can stand alone. So main clause, it covers a complete sentence that can stand alone. It means if I write only the main clause, the sentence is complete in itself. For example, if I say the match went on, so the sentence is complete. It does not need any prior information. Okay, provides the primary statement to or action of the sentence. Okay, primary statements means the key statement which is depicting something main. Contrast with the subordinate clause. So whatever whatever is given in the main clause, whatever information is given in the main clause, it contrasts with the information which is given in the subordinate clause. It means both the clauses, they will serve something contradictory. It means whatever is given in the first statement or in the subordinate statement, it will be opposite to what is given in the main clause, or you can say vice versa. It means whatever happens main clause, it will not be affected, or it will not get affected due to due to the happening in the subordinate clause. Example component, this decided to go for a hike. Okay, so this is actually the main clause. Now if I combine these two sentences, although it was raining, they decided to go for a hike. So these two will make the entire sentence. But if we see the main clause, that is complete in itself. If we see the subordinate clause, that is not complete in itself. Whereas in both the situations we can see the contradiction. As it was raining, obviously one will decide to stop that hiking. Still they decided to go for a hike. Now if you can see the contradiction in both the parts, that it was raining although they decided to go for a walk. Sorry, although it was raining, they decided to go for a walk. It means their planning for the hike, it did not get affected due to the raining effect. Okay, or raining atmosphere. Now third one, combining the two clauses. Now we'll combine the two clauses together. The although clause can be placed either at the beginning or in the middle of the sentence. As I told you that although can either begin the sentence or it can be placed in the middle of the sentence, but you need to shift the entire clause, subordinate clause, after the main clause if you want although in the middle of the sentence. If it comes first, a comma usually separates the two clauses. A comma usually separates, otherwise you can also use the word yet. The main clause follows, presenting a contrast to the information in the although clause. It means whatever information is given in the main clause, that will be the contradiction, or that will serve as the contradiction to the statement or the information which is given in the subordinate clause. For example, now this is the complete example, full example, combining both the clauses together. Although it was raining, they decided to go for a hike. Alternative structure, they decided to go for a hike although it was raining. So we can see although in both the structures, it has been used in these two examples, in the beginning of the sentence as well as in the middle of the sentence. I hope you understood the structure of the word although. Okay. Now rules associated with although. Subordinate clause, although introduces a subordinate clause which must contain a subject and a verb. Contrast the clause with although presents information that contrasts with or opposes the main clause. Position the although clause can appear either at the beginning or in the middle of the sentence. Now, I think I have already discussed these things with you, so I hope you have understood these things. Comma usage: when although starts the sentence, use a comma to separate the subordinate clause from the main clause. Now, whatever happens, if this although is beginning the sentence, what you can do, you can put a comma just for separating these two clauses, the subordinate clause and the main clause. Okay, and I also told you that if you don't want to use that comma, you can use the word yet. Okay, now we can see some examples of although. Let us see some examples. Although it was raining heavily, they decided to go for a walk in the park. Now, they decided, so their decision to go to the park, it did not get affected due to rain. In fact, they decided to go for a rain although it was raining. Okay, she stayed up late studying for the exam although she was feeling exhausted. Although he is very talented, he lacks confidence in his abilities. Okay. Now, she stayed up late studying. It means she stayed up till late in the night for a study. Although she was exhausted, she was tired, still, just because of study for the exam, she was studying till late night. Although he is very talented, he lacks confidence in his abilities. So, as a person, is he that if he is very talented, obviously he should be very confident, but he lacks confidence in his abilities. Now, I decided to buy the car, although it was more expensive than I had originally planned. It means, suppose a person has planned for a car of 10 lakhs, but he purchased a car of 15 lakhs. So, this is over budgeted car. Okay, so although I decided to buy the car, although it was more expensive than I had originally planned. Although they disagreed on many issues, they remained good friends. Okay, so in spite of having this situation, they remained good friends. It means their disagreement over some opinions, it did not affect their friendship. Okay. Although the restaurant had excellent reviews, the food didn't meet our expectations. Okay, so both the things are showing the contradiction, because the restaurant had excellent reviews, that its food and service is very good. Still, maybe possible there are some people whose requirement or expectations of the food did not match it. Sarah decided to accept the job offer, although it required her to relocate to a different city. It means she decided it even though she had to move to some other place. Okay. Although I'm on diet, I could not resist having a small piece of cake at the party. Okay. Although he had a long list of tasks to complete, he managed to finish them all by the end of the day. So this is something very, very nice, that he had a long list. In fact, he was having many pieces of work to do. Still, he managed to do all the work by the end of the day. So although shows the contradiction between his having the long list of tasks and on the other hand, he managed to do all of them by the end of the time or by the particular time. Now, we'll discuss some other connector, that is even though. Now, we'll read the meaning of even though. Even though is a conjunction that means despite the fact that or although. So, although it is same as the word even though. Even though is also the contradictory conjunction, although, though. These words serve the same meaning. It is used to introduce a contrasting or concessive clause that highlights a contradiction or unexpected result. Now, if something happens, we can expect something else to be happened. But sometimes, surprisingly or unexpectedly, something else happened or something else happens. And here, with the help of these words like even though, although, despite, we show the contradiction between the two statements or something unexpected which is going to which has happened, whatever the matter it was. Okay, it was irrelevant to the situation in relation to the main part of the sentence. Now, uses of even though. Even though is a conjunction used to introduce a contrast or concession. Concession again when something happens and the other part that happens is just unexpected to it in a sentence. Contrasting conditions. Even though is often used as a contrast to conditions of facts. Even though it was late at night, she continued working on her project. Okay, so here we can see the contradiction. Even though it was late night, what happens when even though is used? It actually emphasizes the situation which is adverse or which is providing something adversity, whereas the main clause, it contains something which is unexpected out of that adversity. It means that adversity did not get effect. Did not affect the situation or the actual happening. Even though he had a fever. So here the adversity, it has been emphasized with the word even though. He had fever, he went to work. So here something positive can be seen, whereas here we can see the adverse situation. Concessions. It is used to indicate a concession where the second part of the sentence contradicts or is unexpected given in the first part. Even though she is a vegetarian, she cooks meat for her family. Now here even though is emphasizing this situation that she is vegetarian, still she cooks meat for her family. So this is how the contradiction can be seen. Even though he apologized, she could not forgive him. Now, surprising outcomes. Even though can introduce a surprising or unexpected result. Even though he had little experience, he won the competition. Even though it was a small gathering, the party was a huge success. Contradictions. It is used to point out contradictions or disparities. Even though they were siblings, they had completely different interests. Even though the product was expensive, it sold out quickly. Product was expensive, but maybe it was really a worth usage, therefore it sold out quickly. It means even though the product was expensive, so they are emphasizing this point. Even though the product was expensive. Now if something is expensive, obviously it is not expected to be sold out easily. Okay, but it was sold out quickly. It means it was really worth usage, or it was really worth that cost. Even though they were siblings, they had completely different interests. Emphasizing a point. It can be used to emphasize a point or argument. Even though I have told you many times, you still don't understand. So she's so one thing is in this statement, the prior statement, something has been emphasized, that even though I have told you many times. So this is we are describing the frequency of someone who has told someone something to someone else, but he didn't understand. Even though it is just a game, we take it seriously. Okay, it is just a game, so this is emphasizing. It means it can be ignored seriousness, but we take it seriously. Structure of even though. Even though is a conjunction that is used to introduce a subordinate clause, as we have done earlier in the although and though conjunction. Here as well, this even though is a conjunction that is used to introduce a subordinate clause that contrasts with the main clause. Structure of even though in different positions. Beginning of a sentence. Even though she was tired, she continued working. Okay, so we can use the word the conjunction even though in the beginning of the sentence. She was tired, she continued working. So her tiredness, it did not affect her working. She continued working even though she was tired. It means she wanted to do some work. The work was really urgent, the work was really need to be done, so she continued working. Even though it was raining, the children went to the park. Okay, even though it was raining, obviously in raining no one will prefer to go out, but still the children went to the park. Okay, so they enjoyed going in the park. Even though he was warned, he still made the same mistake. So after the warning as well, even though he was given the warning, still he made the same mistake. So here we are using the word still to combine these two clauses together. Here we can see the adverse situation, whereas in this we can see the unexpected outcome irrespective of that adversity. Now it can occur in the middle of the sentence as well, but if you want to see this in the middle of the sentence, you have to shift the entire subordinate clause after the main clause. You cannot only shift the words even though. She continued working even though she was tired. So here you can see the main clause which is occurring in the beginning of the sentence now, and this is the subordinate clause which shows the adverse situation, whereas this is the unexpected outcome which was not affected due to this adverse situation. The children went to the park even though it was raining. So again, this subordinate clause has been shifted from the at the end of the main clause or after the main clause, which is showing this subordinate clause. It is showing the adverse situation, whereas in the main clause we can see the positive outcome of it. He still made the same mistake even though he was warned. So he was not affected at all by that warning. He continued to do the same mistake. He did not get improved. I enjoyed reading even though I don't have much time for it. Okay, she's a good friend even though we don't always agree. So despite of our agreement, we remain good friends, or we are good friends. So our friendship did not get affected due to the disagreement. He got the job even though he didn't have much experience. Okay, so this even though is showing the contradiction between these two situations, that he didn't have much experience. So this is one adverse situation, still he got the job. So this is the positive outcome or an expected outcome of that situation or of that information which is given to us in the subordinate clause. I hope you understood the meaning of this even though. I'm still going to the party even though I don't feel well. She's going to stay with me for a while even though she doesn't have a place to live. Okay, now he is going to try his best even though he knows it will be difficult. Okay, he's going to try his best. Now we'll see some examples of even though. Even though it was cold outside, she went for a jog. So as it was cold, so it was expected that that she will not go for the walk, but she went for a jog. Okay, even though he had little experience, he decided to apply for the job. It means his having the little experience did not affect his dedication to apply for the job. Even though the task was challenging, she completed it with great efficiency. So whatever happened, the task was challenging, still she completed it with great efficiency. It means something unexpected had occurred despite of the task that was challenging. Now let us move to the next point. Even though he felt nervous, he delivered an excellent presentation. So even though he felt nervous, so as he was nervous, so it cannot be expected of him that he will give some good speech. Still, he delivered an excellent presentation. She went for a jog even though it was cold outside. He decided to apply for the job even though he had a little experience. She completed the challenging task with great efficiency even though it was difficult. So here we can see all those sentences with this even though conjunction in the middle of the sentence. Okay, he delivered an excellent presentation even though he was feeling nervous. So this is very simple to use even though or although or though in the beginning or the middle of the sentence. It is only up to you. Both the situations are correct. She went for a jog in the cold even though. Now we can also use this even though in the end of the sentence as she went for a jog in the cold even though. Now we have combined two sentences together, and after that we have mentioned even though. That shows this situation, that for a job in the cold. So in the cold even though. He decided to apply for the job inexperienced as he was even though. So when we wrote the sentence like he decided to apply for the job even though he was not much experienced. So this sentence can be written in this manner as well, that he decided to apply for the job inexperienced as he was even though. So inexperienced as he was shows some adversity for him, and even though shows that yes, this was the adverse situation, yet what happened, he decided to apply for the job. She completed the challenging task, displaying great efficiency even though. So here we can see that the structure or the writing of the sentence has been changed with those sentences which can apply the contradictions with the word having even though in the last of the sentence or in the end of the sentence. Now, here this we have already done. Now we'll be discussing the conjunction even if. Now we have done although, we have done even though. Now it is time to discuss even if. So first of all, we'll discuss the meaning of even if. Even if is used to introduce a clause that presents a condition, often hypothetical or contrary to the actual situation, and is followed by a main clause that states an outcome or action that remains true or will happen regardless of the condition presented. Even if is used to introduce a clause, it means here by with this word we are introducing a clause that presents a condition. It means whenever we are having two clauses, so the clause which has been introduced or which is used with this conjunction even if, that will show some condition to us, often hypothetical or contrary to the actual situation. It means which is actually contradictory to the main clause or the information which is given in the main clause, and is followed by a main clause that states an outcome or action that remains true or will happen regardless of the condition presented. So again, the structure of even if is similar to that of although, even though, and the conjunctions, that contradictory conjunctions that we have read till now. So even if is again presenting a condition for us that in which some a particular subordinate clause or the information which is given in the subordinate clause provides us the information which will not affect the information which is given in the main clause, or it will be regardless, or anything which happens in the main clause is regardless to the condition presented in the subordinate clause. Now, connectors, this creates a contradiction or contrast between the hypothetical condition and the actual outcome of the statement. For example, even if it rains, we will go hiking. So we will go hiking, it means our plan is not it will not get affected due to the weather. Okay, even if it rains, we will go hiking. The phrase even if it rains presents a hypothetical or potential condition, that is rain, which is contradicted by the certainty expressed in the main clause, will go hiking. This implies that the action going hiking will happen regardless of whether the condition rain occurs or not. Okay, so here we can see the situation which is adverse and the unexpected or the positive outcome regardless that adversity. Okay. Now, uses of even if. Even if is a conjunction used in sentences to introduce a hypothetical or conditional situation, emphasizing that the main action or statement holds true regardless of this condition. Introducing hypothetical scenarios, even if is used to set up a hypothetical or unlikely condition. For example, even if it snows, I will go to the market. Okay, so here I will go to the market. My plan will not fail just because of snow. Even if it snows, it means whatever happened, I will go to the market. Okay, so this my decision or my aim of going to market, this will not get affected due to any reason. Okay, so this is showing some hypothetical. It means something which can happen. Which can happen. We don't know what is going to happen. So even if shows something that which can happen, which may occur. So it is just imaginary. We don't know what is going to happen. So even if it happens. Okay. Emphasizing unchanged outcomes. The main clause following even if states an outcome or decision that remains unaffected by the hypothetical scenario. So the main clause following even if. It means if there is a main clause and after that we have even if. So here after this we can have a situation which may or may not occur. So this is just a condition that will come after it. Okay, even if you offer me $1 million, I will not sell my house. Okay, so if you offer me $1 million, so this is just imagination which can happen, but she is determined that she will not sell her house. Okay, structural placement, it is typically leads a subordinate clause. The sentence is structured with even if, introducing the conditional part followed by the main clause that conveys the principal action or statement. For example, even if I'm tired, I always read before bed. Okay, so even if I'm tired, it means this is making a condition that even if I'm tired, it means if it happens that I'm tired, I always read before bed. It means I'm determined to do this whatever happens. Okay, contrast with reality, often even if presents a situation that contrasts with the current or known reality, highlighting a strong commitment or a stance, because it is creating us, it is providing us, or it is creating the imagination part. Therefore it always contrasts something which is given in the main clause, and it also highlights it. Okay, presents a situation that contrasts with the current or known reality. Okay, because it is just an imagination. For example, even if everyone disagrees, I will stand by my decision. Okay, if everyone disagrees, so here it can be seen that if it happens, this will definitely happen. Okay, difference from even though. So how is it different from even though? Now we'll discuss that. Now let us see that how even though is different from, sorry, this even if is different from even though. While even if deals with hypothetical or future possibilities, it means whenever we use if, we are referring to something which can happen in the future. It means it is just a condition that it serves, or it provides us the information of the hypothetical situation or some future event that can occur. Okay, even though is used for real existing situations. Now there are two things. If I say even if it rains, it means I'm predicting something that if it happens, I will not go there. Sorry, I will be going. Okay, even if this happens, I will go. Okay, but in case of even though, we have already we describe something that has already existed, or which is real, which is not imagination, which exactly has happened. It means you can, whatever you provide in even though condition, that can only serve as the present and the past situation. Okay, but in case of even if, we can make the sentence in either present or future sentence. Okay, because here we have the imagination parts, but here we have something which is real. For instance, even though I'm tired, I will finish this work. Okay, uh, so here we can see that this is present situation, but this is existing. It means yes, I am tired, but I will finish the work. The speaker is actually tired. Versus even if I get tired, now he is just predicting, the worker or the speaker, he is just predicting that even if I get tired, I will finish this work. The speaker is not yet tired, but even the possibility of being tired won't stop him. So he's telling us the situation. Okay, now let us move to the next part. Structure of even if. The general structure can be represented as even if, then subordinate clause, and then the main clause. Now again, you can take this even if in the middle of the sentence, but for that you have to shift. This sentence will be like, first of all we'll have the main clause, then we will have the conjunction even if, uh, and after that we have the subordinate clause. Okay, so this will be the structure if we have to keep the even if in the middle of the sentence. For example, even if it rains, we will go to the park. So if it rains, it means if rain occurs, we'll go to the park. So this, even if it rains, so this rain will not affect our plan to go to the park. Subordinate clause, even if it rains. Hypothetical situation, this is only a conditional sentence. Main clause will go to the park, action that will happen regardless of the rain. In sentences where even if clauses comes after the main clause, the comma is used, not needed. The comma usually not needed. For instance, we will go to the park even if it rains. So here we need not put comma. This structure allows for expression of a situation or action that is not influenced or changed by the conditional scenario present in the even if clause. Rules associated with even if, hypothetical condition. So this is the main rule associated with even if, that it will show the hypothetical conditions. It means something that is going to occur in future, but that is not real or existing. This is just imagination. Introduces a hypothetical or unlikely situation. So the situation is something adverse which is not liked. Subordinate clause begins a subordinate clause which must be connected to the main clause. Comma usage, a comma is used when the even if clause precedes the main clause. It means if subordinate clause comes before main clause, we'll put a comma. But if the main clause comes before the subordinate clause and even if in the between, so there we should not use comma. Fourth one, flexible positioning can be used at the beginning or in the middle of the sentence. Different from even though, used for hypothetical situations, unlike even though, which is based on the real situations. Stronger than if. Now, even if emphasizes the phrase if. Okay, if I say, if I study well, I will clear the exam or I will qualify the exam. So this is just a condition that I'm phrasing. But if I say, even if he studies a lot, he cannot qualify the exam. So even if is showing the emphasis on the situation of his doing studies, implies a stronger emphasis than if alone. Unchanged outcome indicates the main action or outcome is unaffected by the condition even if clause. Okay, so if we write only if, that will not present two clauses which will contradict each other. But here this will show the unchanged outcome, or if we combine two clauses with the help of even if, that will definitely show the contradiction from the beginning of the sentence. Now, examples of even if: hypothetical condition, even if it snows tomorrow, we will still go on our hike. Subordinate clause with main clause. Even if you study all night, you might still find exam challenging. Okay. Comma for preceding even if clause. For example, even if I arrive early, I will wait for you outside. So you can see comma over here. I'll join the team for dinner even if I have to work late. Different from even though. Even if I'm tired, I will attend the meeting. Hypothetical, even though I am tired. It means this creates the situation which is real present. Okay, which is real there. But here, even if I'm tired, I'm just predicting that if this happens as well, I will attend the meeting. Stronger than if alone. Even if the odds are low, I will still apply for the scholarship. Unchanged outcome, even if they offer me a higher salary, I won't leave my current job. Now, meaning of even then. So here we have completed the usage of even if as well. Now we'll discuss even then. Even then, used as a conjunction in a sentence, typically serves to introduce a contrasting or continuing condition in the past context. It is often used to refer back to a previously mentioned time or situation, adding information that introduces a contrast or exception to what has been stated. It means it is often used to refer back to previously mentioned time or situation. It means when something has been already mentioned, so it even then prefer to that particular condition that has already occurred, adding information that introducing a contrast or exception to what has been stated. Uses of even then, when used as a conjunction in a sentence, typically bridges a past situation with a present continuous action or condition, emphasizing the continuity or contrast. Linking to the past context, even then refers back to the previously mentioned or understood past situation or time. It is used to connect the past context with the current observation or statement. Introducing contrast or continuity, this conjunction often introduces a contrast to what might be expected from the past situation, or it may suggest that the same condition or action has continued for the time until now. Okay, so this is how this even then shows the condition, also shows the contradiction to some previously said statement. Emphasizing an exception or unchanged outcome, even then can highlight highlight that something was true or occurred in the past, even under certain conditions that might have suggested otherwise. For example, contrast with past expectations. The company was not profitable in its early years. Even then, the investors had faith in its potential. Continuity from past to present. He was an excellent writer in his youth. Even then, he showed a talent for storytelling that persists today. Okay. So, structure of even then. Initial statement setting a past context. The sentence begins with a statement that establishes a past situation or condition. So when you see the structure of the even then, initial statement, it means the starting statement setting a past context. The sentence begins with a statement that establishes a past situation. So in case of even then, the sentence will begin with something that has already occurred in the past. This part lays the groundwork by describing a scenario that occurred was relevant in the past. It means something that has happened was something relevant in the past. Even then, something new has happened, which is showing the contradiction of the past situation. For example, there is a teacher who has taught her students some questions of mathematics. Okay, and she suppose there is a class teacher A and her students were suppose B to Z. Okay, and this person A, he has taught mathematical operations or mathematical questions to this B to Z. It means students B, C, D, E, F, and so on. But in the exam or in the examination, these B to Z students, they you can say they did not perform well. They did not perform well, or they did not do the sum. Okay. Suppose he has taught them to do the divide questions, but they were not able to do that. So even then, um, um, he has taught divide sums to to his students. Even then, they were not able to perform well. So this will create some situation that it has happened. Even then, something contradiction can be seen. Okay, which is unexpected. So it serves as a pivotal point indicating a transition from the past context to a present or ongoing situation. Transition means converting or when something changes. Okay, so from the past context to a present or ongoing situation. Contrasting or containing a statement. After even then, the sentence continues with a statement that either contrasts or with or expands the initial past context. This part reveals something that was that was true or happened despite the past conditions, or it indicates that a certain aspect of the past situation is still relevant or in effect. The typical structure is past context or situation, after that even then contrasting or containing a statement. The company was struggling financially in its early years. Even then, its innovative spirit attracted dedicated employees. So here you can see something which has happened in the past, whereas even then emphasizes that after this situation as well, they able to manage this. Its innovative spirit attracted dedicated employees. Okay. Rules associated with even then. Links to past context, refers back to a previously mentioned past situation or condition. Introduces continuation or contrast, used to introduce information that either continues from or contrasts with the past contexts. Sentence placement typically appears in the middle or at the start of the clause, often followed by a comma. Emphasizes persistence or change. highlights that a condition or action from the past continued or had a contrasting outcome. Okay, so you can say that emphasizes persistence or change. It means it is emphasizing the persistence that there is need to have some change. So highlights that a condition or action from the past continued or had a contrasting outcome. Different from even if and even though, not interchangeable with even if, hypotheticals, or even though real contrasts. Requires context, cannot stand alone, needs a past context for the proper usage. Now, if you are showing this word even then, it can only make you lead a clause that is actually something which is happening just because something has already happened. Okay, only then you can use the even then clause. Example of even then, linking to the past context, the software was still full of bugs in its early release. Even then, it showed a great potential. In his early career, he was largely unknown. Even then, his talent was undeniable. Introducing a contrast with the past, the market was volatile at that time. Even then, some investors saw it as an opportunity. During the 1800s, long distance communication was challenging. Even then, people managed to maintain relationships across continents. Now, you can see during 1800s, so we are talking about some past duration. Long distance communication was challenging. So, at that time, long communication was challenging. It means nowadays we have various mediums of communication, whereas at that time, we did not have any of these things. So even then people managed to maintain relationships across continents. It means their people, they managed to maintain the relationships. Even they were arranged in various continents. It means they were in on different places. Even then they were able to maintain the relationships. Placement in the sentence: resources were extremely limited during that period. Even then, they achieved remarkable scientific breakthroughs. Okay, so you can say resources were extremely limited. It means resources were limited, or they were only for a particular extent during that period. Even then, they achieved remarkable scientific breakthroughs. It means they have achieved remarkable scientific breakthrough. It means they have achieved much of their expectation. Even then, when the technology was nascent, visionaries predicted its profound impact. Okay, emphasizing persistence from the past, the artist was not well received in her lifetime. Even then, she continued to create groundbreaking work. They faced numerous obstacles in those days. Even then, their commitment to the cause never wavered. Okay, so they faced numerous obstacles, means disturbances in those days. Even then, their commitment to the cause never wavered. Differentiating from even if and even though, the equipment was outdated and inefficient. Even then, the team managed to produce excellent results. It was an era of limited scientific understanding. Even then, some theories of that time have held up to the modern scrutiny. Context dependent usage: the company was just a startup operating out of a garage. Even then, its ambition was clear. Travel was much more difficult in early 20th century. Even then, explorers managed to map out vast regions of the earth. Okay, so travel was much more difficult in the early 20th century. So earlier 20th century, travel was much difficult. Even then, explorers managed to map out vast regions of the earth. So this was all about these connectors that we have discussed in this session. I hope you understood each and every connector and the difference between those connectors, and also now you can use these connectors in your sentences as well. Okay, so till now we have done various connectors. In the next session as well, we are going to continue with the same chapter. Till now, I'm ending this session. Thanks to you.